So, when you hear the word entrepreneur, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For most of us, it's probably some visionary, building $1 billion empire out of their garage. But that's really only half the story. Today, we're going to dive into two very different but equally valid paths you can take in the world of entrepreneurship. And this definition right here from Paul Graham, who's a huge voice in the startup world, it just perfectly captures that high-stakes path. It's all about one thing: speed. This is the story we see in movies, right? The relentless chase for massive, massive scale. It's exciting, it's incredibly risky, and it pretty much defines one powerful end of the entrepreneurial spectrum. But what if that's not your game? What if you're not trying to build the next global tech giant or, completely disrupt an entire industry? This is where our story kind of splits and where we get to explore another often overlooked but super common type of entrepreneur. All right, first up, let's talk about the pragmatic hustler, the side business entrepreneur. This is someone who sees an opportunity and totally goes for it, but their focus is all about practicality and getting results now, not necessarily long-term explosive growth. So what even is a side business? Well, it's a venture that's designed specifically to add an extra stream of income on top of your main salary. And the people doing this, they're often full-time employees. It's kind of counterintuitive, isn't it? They're both an employee and an entrepreneur, balancing these two different worlds to hit their own financial goals. The whole model here is built for flexibility. These ventures don't demand a ton of your time and are usually managed in the evenings or on weekends. The focus isn't on some groundbreaking new invention, but on tried and true ideas that are known to work. And what that means is there's very little risk involved, but as a trade-off, the potential financial return is also a bit smaller and a lot more predictable. The core philosophy here is actually really simple. The goal isn't to build some massive corporation. It's to create something small, manageable, and effective enough to meet a specific financial need, whether that's paying off a loan, saving for a vacation, or just having a little extra breathing room each month. And where do these businesses actually live? Well, a lot of the time they thrive right on top of platforms that already exist. Think about selling handmade crafts on Etsy, offering simple, repeatable services on Fiverr, or even flipping items you find on Craigslist for a profit on eBay. A perfect example is providing a service, like creating course thumbnails for instructors on a platform like Udemy. You're just meeting a real need inside an ecosystem that's already there. Okay, let's totally shift gears and look at the other end of the spectrum, the ambitious builder, the startup founder. This is the world of big ideas, big risks, and that relentless, all-consuming chase for growth. You see, a founder is way more than just a business owner. They originate the company. They are the person who had that initial light bulb moment and took on all the risks to bring a really big idea to life. People who jump in early and also take on a ton of risk are often called co-founders. But it all starts with that one massive, singular ambition. You can almost think of a startup as a powerful equation. It starts with a big, often disruptive idea. Then it's fueled by massive ambition. But it's also balanced by immense personal and financial risk. And the whole reason people take that risk is for that final explosive part of the equation, the potential for a truly massive reward. And that risk? It is very, very real. An estimated 95% of startups fail. Just let that sink in for a moment. To knowingly walk into a field where the odds are so heavily stacked against you, that takes an incredible tolerance for risk and an almost irrational belief in your vision. The commitment here is total. It's not a 40-hour-a-week job. We're talking a 100-hour-a-week obsession, often more. Startup founders devote everything they have, their time, their money, their focus, to the venture. Because anything less just dramatically increases that already high chance of failure. It is, by definition, an all-in endeavor. Okay, so now that we've seen both paths, let's put them head-to-head. This is where the fundamental differences in mindset, in goals, and in lifestyle between these two types of entrepreneurship get crystal clear. I mean, just look at the contrast. The primary goal for a side business is to supplement your income, while a startup is built for explosive growth. The risk level? It's low and calculated versus incredibly high and uncertain. And the time commitment? One is flexible and part-time, the other is an all-consuming full-time life. And finally, the design itself. One is built to be small and sustainable, the other is built to scale, and to scale fast. So, which path is the right one for you? The answer isn't about which one is better,
but which one truly lines up with your personal goals, your lifestyle, and maybe most importantly, your tolerance for risk.
And honestly, this is the most important point of all. There is no universally best way to be an entrepreneur. Success is relative. It all comes down to what you want to achieve, how much risk you're willing to take on, and what kind of life you actually want to build for yourself. So let's just boil it all down. First, entrepreneurship is not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. Second, your personal goals should be your compass. They determine your path. Third, your tolerance for risk is a critical guide. And finally, remember that success can look like an extra $500 a month just as much as it can look like a billion-dollar company. Both are absolutely valid. And that really just leaves us with one final crucial question to think about. It's not about how big you can build, but how big you want to build. So what's the right size for your ambition?